What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. Well, we have another charger that's for me, not something that's company related, going to the house, and I didn't know when they were going to pick this one up from the event, but looks like I have this for another day or possibly two. So we're gonna run this up to the farm and go check out the beach and a couple other places and try to get some cool photos and stuff with it. And I'm gonna get some more driving time and some more seat time in this car to see how I like it. So let's get into it. The views, I will say this about Florida, man. The views out here are absolutely beautiful. You really can't go wrong with the views out here. But yeah, man. The rain that pops up literally probably almost every day. It's almost impossible, especially if your car is dark or dark color or black, to keep the damn things clean. White, silver, great colors out here, but this, Well, let's get on the road and see how she does on a little bit of a road trip. Now, one thing that we don't always talk about, or one thing that we care about as guys that like to drive sports cars or muscle cars, is fuel economy. You don't buy these cars for that. That said, this car is going to kind of be a little bit more to the masses. Soccer moms that would normally drive like an X3 or, back in the day, maybe a Dodge Journey, have a ton of room in here. They can fit the kids and they can still fit all the groceries and stuff in the back. So we're going to get into a little bit of road trip fuel economy on this. Won't be a super long video, just showing you what this twin turbo inline 6 Hurricane is capable of. And we all know that I drive like an idiot, so it's not like I'm going to be easy on it either. I'm going to drive it like I would normally drive and see what we get economy wise about halfway through the trip, and then I will drive like a complete pussy for the rest of the trip and see what we get in fuel economy. So let's get it. Guys, before I get into today's video, I gotta talk about the giveaway on the channel. You know that the SRT Jeep is closing out. Extra entries, most likely by the time you see this video, have already ended because they're ending at 12 noon on Sunday. But the 1970 Charger still has some remaining, but it is also almost sold out, and then we'll go to $1 per one entry across the board for what we have up there. I'm looking forward to doing the SRT Jeep and getting that down the road to a deserving subscriber that's jumped in. But if you're looking to get into either, you can go to tk'sgarage.bigcartel.com to get involved, and good luck. All right, so we're driving on the 95 going north. Yes, it looks like it's going to rain. This is every day in Florida. I don't miss it. It's also hot as balls. It's 82 degrees. It feels like 95 because of the humidity. It's just miserable. Anyways, as long as you have a car with AC, though, you're usually pretty good. But let's go ahead and zoom in down here. So the car has 200 and something miles on it now. We're looking at the fuel economy. I'm driving like I would normally drive. I think the speed limit's 65. I'm going like right at 10 over, right? 75 miles an hour. And you can see everybody passing me. People, like, the speed limit down here in South Florida does not mean anything. I'm going 75 to be respectful because this is my car. But you'll see people will literally blow by. Look, I mean, they're just coming. They'll just blow the doors off you here. Because they're, the average speed limit down here in South Florida is 85, 90. Swear to God. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, they're speeding. They're breaking the law. Nobody cares. Police do it. Regular citizens do it. Look at this navigator. I'm going 75, so they got to be going 80 something. They don't care. Don't give a shit. Anyways, let's look at the fuel economy. So cruising at 75, and I'm going to go ahead and set my cruise. All right, we got the cruise set there. Go up a little bit so I have it right at 75. Oh, Hey, there goes one of the buddies from Beamer Invasion. I see you. I hustle. I bet you do. All right, so we're cruising along. I got 118 miles of range. I'm gonna have to get fuel when I get up the way a little bit. But right now we're averaging about 26.7 miles per gallon. We'll see how that goes as we roll. Like I said, this is not me taking it easy on the vehicle. This is me really driving it and giving you, and you can see it's going to keep going up. I mean, when you have your cruise set, you're at like a set RPM, you're always going to do well. I mean, I do the same thing even in the BMW. I mean, even in my M5, if I set my cruise on the highway at, you know, an acceptable speed above 70, let's just say it might be in the 80s, it does fine. It does really good. So we'll see what this thing does as we get on down the road, and I'll tap back in here in a minute to show you guys where we're at in terms of, you know, driving it like I would normally drive it at a little bit, you know, higher clip, and then we'll try to see what we can really get out of it. One of my other favorite features is the active driving assist. The active driving assist in this thing is absolutely awesome. You see this right here, where it's, you know, you do have to keep like a hand or something just touching the wheel, but it, for the most part, will literally just drive itself. You can literally, you know, I'm not saying you need to be on your email or doing whatever, but when you're on a highway like this where it's just wide open and there's not a ton of traffic, this thing will just cruise and roll down the road. And that's I think that's pretty dope. I think that's a pretty dope feature. So, as usual with Dodge, or just Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in general, they always underestimate or underreport what the actual horsepower numbers are. Now, I wasn't sure if it was 550 to the wheels or to the crank in this car when somebody asked me about it yesterday. Evidently it's to the crank. But this car, right, with, let me turn that off so I can actually just hold it. Boop, boop. This car with, you know, just having my cruise set at 75 miles an hour and just rolling, right? So highway driving. And I'm going up hills, down hills, all, you know, not just all flat plain, right? EPA estimates, well, let me show you the EPA estimate. So EPA estimates that this thing does like 16 in the city or 17 in the city and 26 on the highway, right? That's what it claims, right? Right now, this car is averaging, it's not that much better, and to be honest, I am running 93 octane, so it does say 91 plus, right? But so 93 octane, maybe that has something to do with it, because it's a couple of points higher than the 91, but it does say 91 plus, so I'm sure it runs on 93, right? But the average MPG now, and I'm in the yellow, like I'm not even like green in terms of my MPG or what I'm getting. You got to see this. Now, is it a huge difference? Is it a big difference that this thing is averaging 27.6 instead of 26? Not really. It's not a huge difference, but it's common underreporting by what Dodge does. This thing averages more miles per gallon on average on the highway than they've reported. Now that's a welcome, I welcome that. I enjoy this, because you have other companies like Tesla in the EV space that'll tell you that you can get 330 miles of range out of one of their, you know, Model 3s or Model Y long ranges, and you'll be lucky if you get 200 and something. And you can see it keeps going up as I continue to stay here on the highway, right? And it'll stay, you know, it'll go into the green a little bit, but it also goes back and forth with the yellow, right? But this is actually really good, 27.8, and you can see, now that's because the auto cruise is looking for this retard in front of me. So let me get over here, and she'll accelerate a little bit more. But that's not bad, 27.9 27.8, 7. So on average, let's just say it's like 1.5 miles per gallon better than described. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the pace up a little bit. We're not going to show the speed, obviously. I'm going to pick the pace up. And we're going to see if the miles per gallon get better or change. All right, so running at a much, I don't want to say much higher speed, but a significantly higher speed, still on the highway. You would think, you know, RPMs are up a little bit more. The MPGs would go down significantly. You know, it goes red, yellow, green, right? You know, your fuel economy gauge. And I'm going up and down through hills, going through this area here in Florida, and to be honest, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Uh-oh. No, this car does not have a radar defeat device like mine does, like my M5, but I did bring the radar detector because I knew we were going to be playing a little bit. Now we're in rain and a little bit more slippery conditions. We'll see how she handles. And it looks, now that's the other thing. I know people are going to say, well, you know, it all goes to the IATs and the turbos and the weather and the temperature. Yes, all that plays a factor into what your miles per gallon and the power that this car is going to put out. We know that. But it's pretty warm. You know, it's 84 degrees. So it's not like the best day if you were drag racing. I don't know if the humidity helps or not, but, you know, look, we're rolling. We're moving, and I can show you where we're at here now on MPGs, just so you have an idea. Could it go down some? Maybe. It looks like I'm in the green currently while we're rolling, right? It looks like we're in the green. And I'm right on that edge of green and yellow at this speed. Not going to tell you what the speed is, just know that it's high. Now, you know, look, they quote 26. It's slightly better than what they quote or what they say the vehicle is capable of or what it provides, and I think that's an automatic win. I mean, even at these speeds. Now we'll see what the in-city driving is. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that, but I'm willing to bet it's probably going to be right where it is, because when I looked at the fuel economy, remember I got this car when it had 3 miles. Nobody's been driving it except me. There's no other, like, anything for this car to learn. And when we got into the car, before I reset the average, it was at 16.8. And I was at the event, dogging it, doing different stuff in terms of, you know, showing people what the car is capable of. And at Beamer Invasion. And it still averaged 16.8. So it looks like they're right on point with their fuel economy standards. I think it's better on the highway than they claim, and where they're supposed to be in the city. So not like anybody's buying this car for fuel economy. They're not. I'm sure people are 100% not buying this car because they're going to be like, oh, I saved gas in it. But one thing I can tell you for sure about this car is you still get that sports car, muscle car feel, and but you also can get that good fuel economy like on road trips. I think the best fuel economy I got in my 392 ScatPack when I was driving that, like when the Green Monster was street legal, I was getting like 20 and a half, maybe 21 on the highway, best case scenario. And in the city, I get like 13, 14. So this is on par with that, but slightly better. I know people don't really care about fuel economy, but this is one of the aspects of the car that are positive in terms of a sports / muscle car that gets decent fuel economy. It's the same thing for BMWs with the B58. So, you know, and I've been comparing this car to those, you know, like a 540, an M4, an M3, an M340, etc., because that's kind of where this car plays in terms of the horsepower or whatever. But being how big this car is, I really feel like this car, and I can't think of anything else that it would be comparable to in its size, but I really feel like this thing has got the best fuel economy in its class, right? And you have to compare it to, I hate these signs with the speeds or whatever on them. It's just a pain in the ass. Nobody cares. All right, you can stop now. But I think if you're buying a car that you're going to do a lot of road tripping in or cruising the highways in, and you still want a car that's kind of fast, and you get, I mean, a lot of people buy those BMWs, those M340s, the M240, etc., you know, for that, right? So if you're looking for a vehicle that can accomplish those needs for you, I don't see why this doesn't check that box. Now, because I've seen all the comments, and people will be like, oh, TK sold out, TK, blah, blah, blah. I'm giving you look, people watch for an honest opinion. I've already made it very clear, for me, there's nothing when it comes to this car, for me, that's going to sound better than a Hemi. The reason I bought the Daytona from the salvage auction, right, the Charger Daytona that we have to pick up, I bought that car so I could Hellcat swap it, because they don't have a Hellcat version of this car, and I want to have it out and ready for roadkill nights. In my opinion, if you're buying a car like this, you want the most high performance option available. But as us in the Mopar community, you guys all know, we've all had those friends that modded or put lights on and did ground effects kits on SXTs and you know, GTs and all that. Everybody doesn't want the Hemi, and that's okay. We can have options. I don't have a problem with them. I think the Hurricane, you know, performance wise and you know, mileage wise and everything else is going to be better than the Pentastar engine. So for those that are purists that are like, oh, never accept that car, okay. And then when the Hemi comes, you'll be like, nutsack. Boop. I know. I'm that same guy. I'm going to be all about the Hemi when it comes out. Don't get it twisted. But this is what we got for now. So I'm giving you my opinion on this car as it sits right now, and I don't hate it. I didn't like the electric version. I told you about that. All of the issues, the unreliability, all the other software shit, and that all goes back to Carlos Tavares. But the gas version, you know how many times I've seen a glitch or anything since I've been driving this, and this is a pre-production car. I've been told this is not going to be sold to the public. Like, this is a, you know, owned by the company, pre-production car, press car, whatever you want to call it. It's much better than other Stellantis products that I've driven from that Tavares era, where they had a lot of software glitches and problems and issues. So anyways, there's my video on fuel economy, and we kind of got off into a rabbit hole on other stuff. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.